Hey everybody, welcome back to Podcast The Sequel, where we discuss the good, the bad, and the continued. My name's Marissa.
I'm Manira.
I'm Ryan.
And welcome back to Season 2. On today's episode, we're going to be opening with a just kind of a nice informal discussion about a certain type of sequels, if you will. We're just going to open it up. Obviously, it's January. It's a new year. So we're going to be talking about bad horror movie sequels, or just horror movie sequels in general. We can discuss best and worst. So January is particularly known for releasing bad movies, just due to low participation in theaters. Obviously some of these movies have been gone through like some test screenings and maybe had not, very good ratings or very good reviews. So that's in most part why these movies get released in January. So to kind of cap that off, we're gonna just talk about some horror sequels. So not very formal, just if you guys want to talk about some of do we want to do favorites first, like best?
I'm cool.
Yeah.
And then we'll end with the worst, because I think last season we opened with worst and then finished with best, I think.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So we'll flip the script this time around. So if you guys have any best horror movie sequels that you want to discuss, go for it. And I also want to clarify too, we're not specifically mentioning any horror movie sequels that have specifically come out in January. It's just any horror movie sequels that are a little rough, a little great, a little not. Just open it up.
Who wants to go first? Not me.
I'll take it. My favorite horror sequel will have to be Evil Dead 2. I love that movie. I've watched it a million times. I think it takes from the original and adds like a new concept to not just the horror element, adds comedy to it, as the physical acting from Bruce Campbell, which I enjoy very much so in that film. So yeah, I think Sam Raimi went above and beyond for this one. I think the budget was a little bit bigger now. They added more effects. Obviously, people know his brother was used for a lot of those creatures in the film. So I always love the behind-the-scenes information I can get about Evil Dead 2. So I love the trilogy, but the second one is one of my all-time favorite sequels and one of my all-time favorite horror movies in general. So yeah, it would have to be Evil Dead 2 for me.
It's a good choice.
That's a good start. Yeah, I like that.
It's more like, and also it's like, is it a sequel or is it a requel? Because it's essentially the same movie. It's not like it happened again. It's just like, I don't know. It's hard to explain.
Yeah, because the way it starts.
Is he coming back? Bruce is coming back to No,
it's like they did
No.
it. It's like they remade the
I honestly
movie.
don't remember the opening.
Yeah, it's just he takes a new girl to the cabin instead of like the group.
But it's not like he went back knowing with the knowledge that happened prior.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
And the other wrinkle too, that we completely get out of from the first one, is now there's like a doctor that's investigating like the book, and like his daughter's trying to find him because the last time they knew where he was at was in the cabin. So he technically could just be a one-off in that world, because it just kind of is, but it's Evil Dead 2, so I'm like,
I like to think that maybe it's like in another universe.
Yeah, especially with the events they unfold at the end of it, where he travels in time now, and like I think it opens the door to like different universes with the book and everything. So yeah. But I do think from the first one, it could have been a one-off as well. But the fact that they added that little comedy aspect into the film, I think that actually helped the movie, for me at least. I enjoyed that part because it still has the blood and the gore and all the things the first one had. Bruce Campbell is just top-notch in that film for me. I just love what he does. Like the hand stuff was like some of the best, physical stuff I've ever seen in the movie, in my opinion. But yeah, so Evil Dead 2 is just one. But I could agree. I do think it's like a totally different story because he doesn't go back. There's no way. Why would?
Yeah, there's no like connection to the first. So then, yeah, I guess that offer. I mean, like, even though it's called Evil Dead 2, is it really then a sequel? Yeah. I guess we'll have to discuss that when we cover Evil Dead 2.
Mm-hmm.
But not Evil Dead. Yeah, I was gonna say, and this is Evil Dead 2, not because I think we talked about at one point, like
not Rise.
Yeah, not Rise or anything like
Evil
that.
Dead.
Yeah.
No, yeah, those.
Body.
Yeah, I think there's a connection to Rise, but not really. It's like loosely connected in a way.
I think we said that it takes place in the same universe.
Yes,
but it's not a direct
books or
sequel.
something.
Yeah,
because they're opening that world of like there's different Necronomicons.
Yeah, adaptions of that book. Like there was one in the church, and there was one in the bank, and there was one in the cabin. So there's different ones planted in different places. And I think the last Evil Dead that came out is opening that world.
Yeah.
From the original one, and then the Evil Dead that we're talking about was like just that was just a remake, which is
Yeah.
a great remake, one of the best horror remakes ever, in my opinion.
Oh,
I
so
love
great.
that movie. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
but
great.
so yeah, I think they're trying to get it now connected, but we'll see.
Yeah, I like, and if they are doing that, I really like that as an idea
Me too. Yeah.
for them to work with.
Like a world building,
Mhm.
universe building, I guess. Yeah. Very cool.
Evil Dead 2. So I'm not the biggest fan of Evil Dead. The first and the second, I always get them confused. Which is the one that I don't like? Which is the one where the girl gets fucked by a tree? First or
That's
second?
That's the first
That's the first one.
I don't like that one. And then I think so I've never watched Evil Dead, and Joseph made me watch Evil Dead. We watched.
How dare you?
I know.
No.
At a cemetery.
Had a cemetery. We watched it at a
Oh,
cemetery.
Nice. that's
we
really
watched
cool,
all
though.
three at a cemetery.
Yeah, all three.
Wait, at the like Forever Cemetery or?
Oh, it's a cemetery by Signal Hill. They should do like showings there.
Oh, okay.
During
So
Halloween
similar
season.
to
Yeah.
I was like so somewhat similar to.
It
Oh,
was
we should do that.
It was very creepy. So it added a lot to like the creepy element to it, and I was already like very uncomfortable like watching it. I was like, and there was like a tree right next to us, and I was like, oh god, it's gonna come for
And
me.
it was foggy that night too. It was great. Great time.
That's a great time.
Yeah.
No.
I always
Yeah.
find that people have an issue with that scene specifically, like the tree scene. I was like, I
It's
don't think I'm
brutal.
allowed to say that word, but
The tree grape.
She got essayed by a tree.
yes.
Yeah.
I was like, what? My brain had to slow down for a minute. I feel like a lot of people have an issue with that scene, but I also feel like when that movie came out, there was a lot of like those like Last House on the Lefty,
Mm-hmm.
like what is it, Spit on Your Gravy kind of movies that are very like gritty, very like essay, if you will. So, I don't know, but I feel like it just kind of adds to like the
I definitely
horror
think it
of
added to it. Like
Like it's not great,
No.
but I mean, like who wants
Ow.
that?
Well, that's what I was
Ow.
gonna ask you because you usually hate anything that's gory and bloody. Did you
Yeah,
hate
that's
that
you. Yeah, I
aspect,
was
or
gonna
like
say.
did you hate the whole entire general movie? Like that's because you usually hate movies just that have any blood.
Yes. Honestly, I'm the type of person who I enjoy watching horror movies. A lot of older horror movies I'm not a fan of just because I don't find them believable. I think the acting isn't that great. Some of them are pretty good. Some of like acting wise, I don't know, it just doesn't seem real to me, so I'm just like, moving on. But I did like the one we all watched in theaters. The one in the apartment building.
The Rise.
Rise.
Yeah,
that was pretty
I
good.
like that one. I think that one probably out of the Evil Dead trilogy universe,
Yeah.
I think that one's my favorite that
I
I've
feel like
seen.
that's a very big statement that you just said about older horror movies.
My opinion.
Oh,
Stand by
absolutely.
it.
And you are 100% entitled.
I don't know.
To
It's like
your
the same
opinion.
thing. Like when I watched The Exorcist for the first time with Joseph, I was just like, I don't find it terrifying. Like I was just like, eh.
To be
I don't
fair,
know why.
to be fair, I don't either. And I think like we've discussed this when we watched it together because I know you always have an issue with or had an issue. I don't know if you still do, but
Yeah, but that's more so like
I feel like it's kind of just coming.
when and where I watched it, how
Well,
I
yeah.
watched it. It's more of like a history thing for me, like how I watched it.
I think
what
yours is
freaks me
also
out.
too like kind of how you grew up.
Yes,
and
that
like,
plays
maybe,
a big
like
part
a
in it as well.
cultural, like
Mhm.
religious standpoint. So I think
Yeah,
that's also.
so I'm coming from like when I'm watching, I'm coming from a different place. When you're watching it, like
Yeah.
you say, you watch older horror movies, like that's fake. But in me,
Yeah.
sometimes I'll watch things and be like, oh fuck, like
I don't know why. I feel like I've always just had that mindset when it comes to watching older horror movies. I don't know why.
what else are movies?
Oh, see, and I feel like with older horror movies, specifically like maybe your black and white horror movies, I'm specifically thinking like House on Haunted Hill kind of thing, where it's just like they do more of like a show not tell or even a not show, kind of like if it's like a monster kind of thing where like they kind of wait and hold back, so you're kind of building this fear versus like it's in your face, look at all this blood. So I don't know, I particularly have like more of a love for older horror just because I feel like it made you feel more versus like, and plus like a lot of, depending on which area of horror you're going for, like if you're going for like monsters, like zombies, are you going for supernatural, are you going for like, what is it?
Slasher.
Yeah.
Slasher, I was thinking more like earthquake, volcano-y,
Natural disaster.
like natural,
disaster movie.
yeah,
type
like
shit.
disaster-y kind of thing. I think it just depends on what you're going for. Because like for me, like I feel like natural disaster kind of movies are like my biggest fear
Because they're
because
realistic.
it's very
And it can
realistic.
happen.
Yeah. Whereas like I know, and we'll get to it, I'm sure, a little bit later, but like a Chucky, like a thing coming to life kind of thing. Like, and don't get me wrong, like very terrified when I was a kid, but like now you're like, all right, I'm an adult and you're not. Like,
Still terrified.
I just think it's like Toy Story.
But
you kinda
that's because
argue.
of how you were. That's so like
Yes,
Chucky. That's how
exactly,
you grew up
exactly,
with the way
yeah,
you watched
yeah.
it with
Yeah.
your family having dolls. That added to the fear of watching that film. So there's like,
Yeah, because dolls are still creepy.
I think upbringing plays a part to a lot of movies and just
Yeah.
general how you
Yeah.
watch them.
I think that's also probably why a lot of like older horror doesn't. I don't know why it just doesn't. I don't like them. I think it's because a lot of the ones that I've watched have to do with like supernatural things, and I really don't believe in any of that stuff. So I feel like I'm one of those like if I don't believe in it, if I don't see it, like I just not believable. I don't know why, but that's how I. Only way I can explain why I don't like them.
Yeah. Have you ever seen like Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein?
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say because I feel like those are movies where like you have the monster, which is Frankenstein's monster, and he's supposed to be like the monster, right?
I felt sorry for him.
But he's not the monster.
We're
Doctor,
the monsters.
well, Doctor Frankenstein, and then people in general are the monsters. So I feel like that's where like there's not a whole lot maybe like going on that's really like scary, but like realistically speaking, like it's terrifying to think about. Like that's where I feel like horror, like older horror, is more like a kind of almost like a backwards thinking, where they're kind of saying like they're like, hey, look at this shiny thing, when like the real horror is kind of behind what they're showing
Yeah,
you.
I feel like not a lot of movies, like horror movies, have scared me. The only one that comes to mind is Insidious. I don't remember which of the Insidious movies. The one we watched in theaters. That was the only one.
I don't think that one scared you. I think there was just your.
It had
It
like
was
jump
just-
scares
yeah.
that because I usually don't freak out at jump scares either, but that movie got me with the jump scares.
See, and I don't like jump scares because I think that they're cheap. Because I think that anybody can like come up and be like, blah la la la.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Are
like,
you really
and-
being scared or being startled?
Yeah,
There's
that's
two
yeah.
differences.
That's
Just
my
like-
that's my argument
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
something like
Yeah.
that.
jarred from loud music just out of
Yeah.
nowhere, just being like, ah.
Yeah,
It's
because you
like,
can be startled like that in a movie, but if you leave a movie and you're still
Uncomfortable.
feeling it and you're still feeling like that, like
yeah, like, I better turn on all the lights when I get
yeah,
home.
or like not even
Yeah.
you just like
That
feel
easy
like
feeling.
like what was that movie? It's not, or is it a horror? I don't even know if it's a horror movie. I think
Hush?
it's more like crime theater. No, like crime. Long Legs.
Oh,
Yes.
that movie. I was just
Like
thinking
that
in my
like
head.
sits with you
Mm.
where you're just like uncomfortable. Like I felt like I needed to like shower or like wash my hands kind of thing.
Bless you.
Bless you.
It snuck up on me.
So, what would you say would be your favorite horror movie sequel?
I picked when I was thinking of my favorite like horror sequel. The one that stood out to me was A Quiet Place 2. I love the first one. I think for a sequel that's pretty much a silent movie where there's not really that much dialogue, or if there's any, it's very minimal, pretty much barely any sound. I feel like this movie kept my it kept my attention, and like when it came out in theaters, I was very interested to
I was like, is the crocodile looking at you again? Or?
Yeah. But I feel like it did a great job of keeping the suspense alive from the first one, like bringing it on to the second one. That I was very excited when they announced that they were making a sequel. And then I told Joseph like I wanted to watch it, so we watched it opening night in the theater. I really enjoyed it. I still think it's a great movie. I have not watched the prequel, the
Yeah.
one that just came out
The
recently.
year one or whatever.
Yeah,
it is.
I heard good things about it, but maybe one day when it's streaming somewhere, I'll watch it.
Yeah, I mean, in the trailer, it has that scene with the cat, and I was like,
Mhm.
no, because the whole movie, I'm just gonna be like, fucking
I know that was
hate that shit in movies. I think we've talked about
that was
this.
one of those movies where I kind of like had to find out like
Is the cat
are they
okay?
are they
Does-
gonna
yeah,
kill
did
that
they make
cat?
it,
Yeah, like
um,
are they
Yeah.
gonna kill
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Because
No-
if that
no
cat is not
spoilers,
okay,
but-
I'm not gonna be okay.
Yeah, I don't want to go watch that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna Marley and Me like.
Yeah,
And I think that's why I like that franchise because of the idea of like it's not just any other like invasion. You know, it's
Yeah.
there's specific rules to this
Mhm.
invasion,
Yeah.
and they have to play and abide by those rules, and it makes it a more interesting story to see how they go from A to B. Like the first one, the scene where she steps on the nail,
Oh,
fucked me up. like it made me so uneasy. Like I can't. I have a big problem with seeing people step on things. So when that happened, her having to hold that scream in, I felt like that was a great scene. But the second one too, that
Dude.
journey of them going to that one island to get to that radio station to get like the frequency thing.
Yeah.
It's like it plays a major role because again, everything needs to be quiet. So I do
Yeah.
enjoy that franchise for the idea from taking something from an invasion and adding another wrinkle to it. They did a great job.
Yeah. Plus, I think the addition of Cillian Murphy was really done well. I think he was a great addition to the cast. I know the nail scene stuck with you, but the one scene that stuck with me from the first one is her giving birth, but being very, very quiet while she's like physically pushing a baby out of her. I was just like, I don't know how you did it or how anyone would do it if that in like that scenario. I'd be like, give me all the drugs and knock me out.
Yeah, she had no drugs. Or did she?
No.
No shit.
She might have like Tylenol or something.
Yeah.
I thought she
I
had
know
like
that they
something.
made that excursion to like the
They
went
did
to
go
that
to the
store,
pharmacy.
right?
pharmacy
Yeah.
to like
But
find
I don't
drugs
think
and
they
things
got,
that they
like-
needed. But
I mean, they definitely
At the
didn't have.
door.
Yeah, they didn't have like
Yeah,
like,
they
and
any
are they
didn't have
control.
expired at this point or what? How
I
long has
mean,
it been going on for?
Yeah.
I would take it
You know.
the off chance.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought it was a great movie.
Yeah, it's
still,
a very great concept
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
I think it was a different concept for a horror movie. And I enjoyed it. What about you?
It was hard for me. I still think that like for me, a horror movie. Aliens for me. I think is still a really great sequel. It really adds upon a world that already exists and terror of what if there was more. It's like, oh, okay. That's where I would stay for right now. That would be one of the top ones for me. Even though it's more of like an action movie than a horror movie.
I think it's like action
Still
horror.
both, yeah.
I think it's classified.
It's a fun ride.
Yeah, because that's
Yes.
the tough thing with like I feel like in any genre you kind of get like these subgenres now, and I feel like in our actual our episode for season 2, like we're gonna kind of dive into a little bit of like a subgenre discussion a little bit. But I feel like that's one where it's kind of like morphs into like a sci-fi horror, and now it's like an action horror, and then almost later in the franchise you almost get like this like comedy horror because of how ridiculous it ends up being. And obviously if you haven't seen it, please go watch Aliens and Alien Resurrection episode, because we discuss kind of that transition of genre as well.
Of the best parts of that series to some of the lowest points of that series.
Oh yeah. Yeah, buddy.
But even so, like with like when Prometheus came out, I was still in. Everyone had
Yeah.
their sort of ideas of whether it was good or bad, and I thought it was pretty decent.
I enjoyed it.
I did too. I actually watched Prometheus before I watched the Alien movies. And I thought it was really well done. And then, you guys all know how I feel about Alien and Aliens at this point, but Prometheus was well done in my opinion.
Is that the one with Dennis Quaid?
Dennis Quaid.
Is it Dennis Quaid?
No.
Am I thinking of somebody else?
Yes.
Who's in
Dennis
Prometheus?
Quaid.
Who's the man?
Which
Men.
man? Which man?
Hold on.
Not
The main guy?
not the robot.
So not Michael Fassbender.
No.
So the other guy, I forget. You mean the one that's with what's her name? Imogen Poots? Is that her name?
Is that not Shia LaBeouf? Who's Shia LaBeouf? No, he's dating Mia Goth. Just kidding.
It stars Nomi, Michael Fassbender, Charlize
Idris
Theron,
Elba.
Idris Elba, Guy Pearce, Logan Marshall Green.
Maybe I'm thinking of
Sean
Guy Pearce.
Harris.
Maybe
I
thinking of
think you're
Guy
thinking
Pearce.
of the Michael Green. Shit, that was him. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Nope, that's not what I'm thinking of. But
That
he
shit,
was
yeah.
in. No, I'm thinking of Pandorum.
One's Pandora.
Did I hear you?
Is that the one that's like the guy where it's like South Africa in space? Or is that right?
I've never seen it.
Because it's like in the same universe as the District 9, I think.
Is it really?
I don't know if
I
it's the
didn't
same
know
movie.
that-
There's one that
Let
has
me
like Matt
see.
Damon in it, and it's like in space and shit, and it's very classist.
I haven't seen District 9 though.
I mean,
What's it about?
District 9?
Mm-hmm.
District
Yeah, I've
9
never seen that one either.
is like aliens come to Earth,
Mm-hmm.
but they can't get back home. So their spaceship is just stuck in Earth, and they have to just assimilate with the population, and then it turns into like a race kind of
Do
thing.
they look like aliens? Or
hmm
they look like
They call them prawns because they look very like.
A lot of comparisons to The Fly when Omway does his transformation.
Yeah,
it gets
because
pretty
there's some pretty good body horror in it. When
Mhm.
yeah.
I'm always like kind of not into body horror.
It's very minimal,
Yeah.
but
No, I just like
but yeah.
no. I'm like not that it would deter me from watching it. Just like in general, that's not like a genre that I'm like I've seen The Fly, and like it's not that I'm like disgusted or just like ew, I can't watch this kind of thing. It's just more like it's not really up my alley.
Yeah.
Like same thing with kind of like zombies. Like I have to really be in the mood for like zombies.
I mean, it really
agree with
depends
that.
on the zombie
Yeah.
movie too.
I think it depends.
some good
yeah.
ones.
I need the story to be just as good as like the zombies. I'm like, yeah, they're zombies, but give me something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing with like aliens. I think creature features in general, I think that qualifies as everything.
Yeah.
Like I really just have to be in like maybe a mood for it because I'm not like, oh, what am I doing today? Oh, let me just put on like, you know, Dawn of the Dead or something. Like, I mean, it's a great movie, but like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just not like I feel like zombies. You can only do so
Which
much
Dawn
with
of the Dead?
zombies. I don't know.
The one with the guy from with the Modern Family.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, no. Like the original.
I mean, it's essentially the
Yeah.
same movie. But
Well, no, that's why
Snyder,
like
right? Was it
I
Snyder or was it
I
Gunn?
don't remember.
I got you.
or is it maybe
Yeah,
it wasn't
Jamie, look
Dawn
that
of the
up.
Dead? Maybe it's Day of the
Jay, look it up. Jay, pull it up.
Either way.
Well, no. So that's why like when they came out with what's that TV show, Walking Dead?
Yes.
That's why like I was kind of like confused.
Zack Snyder movie.
Shit, there you go.
Screenplay written by James Gunn.
Oh, shit. Well, there you go.
Interesting. Yeah, I was like, how are they gonna make this like a seasonal show? Because I'm like, how much could you do
And they kept on
with
fucking
zombies?
going.
Well, no, and
still
it's still
fucking
going.
going,
It's still
too.
going.
They have
I
3
mean,
spin-offs.
Yeah, and I hear the acting's good. I hear that they bring more to it. It's just not. I
I made it
tried.
through 5 seasons
The
and I
It's a
gave
soap
up.
opera.
The
I've
first,
tried,
the first
yeah.
4 seasons were decent, and then it became not about the zombies anymore.
Yeah,
Well, it
The
was
zombies
never
were no
supposed
longer
to
the
be
threat.
about the zombies.
Yeah.
It was supposed
Was
to be about
them,
them
yeah.
living
Yeah.
in that apocalypse.
yeah. I don't know. It's just I have to be.
You got to be in the mood.
Yeah, I feel like zombies are just kind of like a dead subject for me, literally.
Yeah, and then there's also like there's 2 different camps of people like when it comes to zombie movies. Like if it was an actual zombie apocalypse, you could jog away from a zombie.
Well, depends on the
And then-
species of zombie.
See, and then that comes into play, and you have your like
28
28 days
days,
later.
yeah.
Zombie
Oh,
land.
Just sprint. Zombieland, they technically they followed the rules of like what a zombie should be,
Yeah.
because yeah, like if a zombie wouldn't be able to sprint, doesn't have the motor functions for that, being brought back to life and whatnot.
Well, no. How
my
did
opinion.
Zombieland do that? Because they have like when he's listing his rules,
He
he's
does.
like
He says
endurance
cardio
or
because
cardio. Yeah.
is if you could
My whole
you could
life revolves around
jog. You don't have to sprint away from a zombie. You could
Mm-hmm.
jog from a zombie.
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it'll just kind of stammer at you, like
Mm-hmm.
basic motor functions, trying to like a toddler walking after you. You could get away from that.
Yeah. But then you have like 28 days, 28 weeks later,
they tried to
which
make
I
it
feel
scary.
like.
Fast as fuck, boy.
Well, but I feel like are those actually zombies? Or at that point, are those like rabid?
That's like-
it's almost like a rabies
That's like an
yeah,
kind of
infection.
thing.
chemical
Yeah.
imbalance. that,
Yeah.
But with Dawn of the Dead, they never specify, but they are able to because they wanted to make it scarier.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what if it was an actual threat of like 1,000 people running after you?
Yeah.
Like they did that shit with like World War Z when they're like climbing each other and making like
Yeah, that could happen,
Yeah.
but it would be much slower.
yes.
Yeah.
And that's just my opinion.
Well, yeah, because in what is it, Night of the Living Dead? They don't even call them like zombies, right? Don't they call
Yeah,
them
they
like
never
the
call them-
undead
Yeah,
or
yeah.
there's something called something like that?
Yeah, you never
So.
say the Z word.
Zombie.
Zombie.
Oh, that's good. Good choice. Good choice.
I mean, you know, for the minimal thought process. That
I think I have it as my number 2 behind.
Well, I like it because
Yeah.
I was like, and then we've also like we've covered
yeah, and it happened to
that
be something we
amongst
covered.
like I made a list of like we've actually covered quite a few horror movie sequels on the podcast. So Aliens is one of them, Alien Resurrection, which we've already mentioned, Friday the 13th Part 2, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, Terrifier 2, Saw 2. So
Of all of those, yes,
we've done
Alien
some
is
damage a little bit in the
Top tier of that list.
yeah. Oh yeah, for those I would say
100%.
yeah, Aliens is probably. He's just choked up.
God, it's a beautiful movie.
Terrifier 2.
I just always remember watching Aliens 2 and like Mooney was saying something and she's like, Joseph.
Oh, locked in.
And
Yeah.
literally
Locked
he's
in.
like, what? I'm watching the movie. I'm paying
Locked in,
attention.
man.
I know he was
When they're
ignoring
getting
me.
the guns ready and they open the little ceiling and you just see all of them coming through, dude. That's fucking
Oh, yeah,
some
dude.
of
He's
the
in
best
it.
Upside
scenes
down.
I've
He's
ever
in it.
seen, dude. Like I love that scene so much.
great.
Yeah, I could watch that movie anytime.
They're right on top of us, man.
Especially his like
Game over,
lines,
man.
dude, in that film. He's the
Nah,
best
dude.
in that film, man. I love him.
Oh, rest in peace.
Yeah.
Oh.
What's your favorite
Big
horror
ups.
sequel?
So I didn't go into in depth with this. I kind of chose like just a few that I'm just really big fan of. So I'll just like rattle them off, I guess, if you will. Just because like I don't know. It's hard. It's like that question, right? Where like you're talking to somebody and they're like, "What's your favorite movie?" And you're like, I have so many. Or you know, you just how do you like scale them on like a list? So I'm just gonna throw out a couple. Final Destination 5.
Never seen it.
Terrifying.
We will. Don't worry. We'll get there.
Oh, we'll definitely
Is
get
it
there.
worth watching? Because
Yes.
I've never made it through the first one.
Well, don't worry.
Oh, well.
We're definitely
Well,
gonna
like
get there.
two actually kind of holds up.
Yeah, I don't hate to.
2's not bad because it kind of follows.
2
in
is the one
same-
with the car
It's the with
on the
truck
freeway
with the
yeah.
logs. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
then-
that one makes you want to not go on the freeway.
Five was the bridge, right? That's
5
the one
is
that I
the
love.
bridge. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it for a certain reason.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's a
One day I'll
great.
watch 'em.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
great.
But
no
we will.
spoilers.
Yeah.
One day we'll watch
We
it.
will. Yeah.
Oh no,
We'll
we're.
get-
I
we'll
mean,
get into
well,
it.
yeah, I was gonna say, well, that I won't mention specifically which ones we're gonna cover, but we definitely are gonna cover some horror movie sequels this season as well. I think I have 2, 4, at least 5 that we'll be talking about this season, specifically that are horror sequels. So whether we think they're good or bad, but I will spoil one of them. Will be Final Destination,
Hooray.
and we'll explain on that episode why. But so you'll get to find out if you like them or not.
You'll dig them. I have faith you'll dig them.
I mean, I don't know. There's a few.
It comes
bloody-
to
I
a certain
mean, yeah,
point,
but-
like
Yeah, there's a
especially
few.
when there's a motocross thing going on or whatever it is.
There's gonna be certain.
But like, they're just meat.
We'll
at a
cross
certain
that
point.
bridge.
Like
Yeah.
as far as storyline goes.
Yes.
Hey, we're literally across that bridge, right? Am I right?
Is that
Am I right? We're doing a lot of dad jokes today. Scream 2 is one of my personal favorites. I love the Scream franchise. 3 is but other than that, I think like the story's great. I love these characters. I like the meta feel for everything. Paranormal Activity 3, that's the one where they kind of go back and do footage of the 2 main girls from 1 and 2, and it's their little girls, and I love the shots of like the panning back and forth where it's like almost like a fan, like an oscillating fan. So
Those
that's
are
really
movies
fun.
that I've never seen. I've never seen.
haven't seen any of them?
No.
Ooh.
Not once.
I've only seen the first 2.
I think the first 3 are where it's at. 4 is like a meh, but I don't know. The first I liked 3 is my favorite out of the entire series. But also, if you don't like paranormal type stuff or you don't believe in that kind of stuff, I guess I don't really think it's for you. Like, it didn't spook me that much. Like, I remember watching it with a friend and she was like terrified, and I was like,
It's like found footage, right? That's the
Yeah.
one that's like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it takes place in California.
And I like found footage movies. There's like one particular series of movies, VHS. I really dig those.
Oh, I know you really like
There's
those.
certain segments in those that like
I liked
Great.
I liked 1, I think.
one's solid.
I think
Yeah.
1 I liked.
You've
Number
only seen
2
one.
only had like
A few segments that are
yeah,
good.
like the one that's the zombies one. It was hilarious because
Yeah.
it's a segment where the guy is like mountain biking with a GoPro,
Mm-hmm.
and then he becomes a zombie, but he still has the GoPro on, so it's just from his perspective.
That
I
is
think
fun.
it's hilarious. And then when they crash into the birthday party, oh my! And then the 2 tapes collide because they found the birthday tape, and then it's just like happy birthday. It's, ah! They're like, oh my god, fucking love
Those
it.
are great movies.
So it's a good sequel that you like.
Should have said that.
Run it back. Run it back.
I already mentioned it kind of just with you, but like Bride of Frankenstein, I think that's like a great classic horror movie sequel. I think like adding the bride was a great concept. Wes Craven's New Nightmare, that's my favorite. Well, maybe tied with Nightmare on Elm Street, but like I think that one is my favorite.
As far as the sequels go,
Yeah, I just like that it's like you're taking like the story and like the actors out of it, and just meta kind of talk about that. And then I know we mentioned Chucky earlier. We know how much Mooney loves Chucky. I kind of put Curse of Chucky and Child's Play 2 both on like my listing of this because I feel like they kind of both do. They kind of like almost give like a different vibe for the whole well, it's not a franchise. Oh, is it a franchise now?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Technically, yeah, I was like technically franchise. Yeah.
Yeah, there's
Well, because I'm
7
like
of them,
series.
Chance,
I'm
isn't
like
there?
series now. Yeah. There's
Child's Play 2, Child's Play
five,
3, Curse,
7,
Seed,
Right.
Bride,
Bride, 6.
and then what was the one of the 2 newer ones? It was Curse, and what was the
Revenge
other
of
one?
Chucky? I don't know.
Oh, Cult.
8.
That's it.
7 or 8, yeah.
Yeah.
Or
I like,
series.
but I like those movies, and then and then Curse. I think just revived it because 3 was kind of rough for me.
Was 3 the one where they were in the
Military
military,
school.
camp? Yeah.
That one's really rough.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's like some funny stuff in there that you can just like make fun of, like it's like a bad movie. But in terms of like overall story and stuff, you're just like, what's happening at this point?
Yeah.
What's going on here? So I wrote down all of those. I don't have like a specific one that is my favorite, just because I love just like horror movies in general. But I just threw those out. So do we want to get to some trash?
Some trash.
Some trash.
Since we left off talking about Chucky, I'm gonna say my worst horror sequel is The Seed of Chucky. I already don't like Chucky. I think it's probably the one movie that has terrified me till this day. And I specifically put that The Seed of Chucky is just an abomination of a movie. That them having a son is just an abomination. I don't understand how that happened. I don't understand how he... British, the son. I haven't seen that movie in forever.
Birth that Sheeran.
Damn.
I was not ready for that.
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
they mention it or something, or I feel like they say something about it in the movie. About
I wouldn't know. I saw it once and I never wanted to watch it again.
like
I think
how he's British.
They brought it back into series too, didn't they?
never
Yes.
made it
Never
that
finished
far.
the
No, they
series.
did. Well, yeah, because at
Yeah,
the
I
end
didn't
of Seed
either.
of Chucky, they take because he has 2 personalities, and they split his 2 personalities into 2 twins, and then in the series they bring back those twins as like adults. Or not, maybe they're not twins, but they're like brother and sister.
Damn.
At the end of Seed of Chucky, like when they're
Oh, yeah, they're
swapping,
at the birthday party.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah, it's just a terrible movie.
His new
Absurd
pants
plot,
coming.
everything.
Yeah, I was gonna say Jennifer.
Between that one and
Connelly.
the third one, I don't know which one I think is the worst. Because the third one, I just bores me.
It's this one. This one.
This one was a
the
tough
worst.
watch.
This one just has like, I mean, I don't know, like I think we've talked about it before with like Bride of Chucky, but like I love
Jennifer Tilly's
Tilly.
great.
I love Jennifer Tilly. Like I'll take all of the Jennifer Tilly.
I think Seed has like some funny moments, where the third one, I'm like completely bored.
If I have to watch a Chucky movie, I would probably give it to Bride of Chucky, just because I think she never terrified me. It's just Chucky himself that terrified me, and then
See, and I feel like he looks the most terrifying in Bride.
Yeah, that's the one that
Yeah,
people
I agree
think
with
of
that.
the
Where
most.
they like,
because
yeah,
has
because
all-
he's
he
got
has,
like the staples
yeah,
and
his
Okay.
hair stapled on.
Yes,
and
I
shit,
barely
yeah.
put
vaguely
together.
I say
remember
it's
that
usually
now.
yeah.
over
I
there,
think he
but-
looks the most terrifying in Bride and Seed. Other than that, like
feel
1
like-
and 2, he's whatever.
yeah, I feel like Seed is not terrifying. It's just a stupid movie.
Well, yeah, and it even opens with like this like CGI like sperm
Yeah.
like swimming pool of, you know.
I feel like this is one of those where they just made a sequel as like a cash grab for this one, and I was just like, they just wanted to just make
I don't
money
even
out of
know. I mean, like
I don't know
we'll
if
get
it
there
made money.
eventually. So like, I mean, I'm definitely gonna throw that off to Joseph.
Oh, the
like, what was the
finances.
like
I think
financial?
Bride did pretty well.
Bride did great.
Yeah, and I think that's why they were like, well, let's do Seed now.
it.
Yeah.
So Bride came out before, right?
Yes,
Yes.
it was
Yeah,
Bride
okay.
and Seed. So I think that's why Seed was greenlit, because Bride was really big when it came out. So
Yeah,
they
I
turned
can't
to
wait
that.
to do like I can't wait to do a deep dive on like the Chucky series, just because like I love, like I went from like you where I was just like I'm terrified of Chucky like growing up, even to like not even just a few years ago, and then I just kind of slowly started like watching the movies and looking at it and I just went into like a deep dive where like I became obsessed with like Chucky, Don Mancini, Jennifer Tilly, like every like yeah, like all the Dorffs, like I just became like obsessed, and I know so much about like Chucky just because I immersed myself in it, and that it helped me get rid of the fear of it.
Just let me know when we are going to be talking about Chucky, so I can disappear for a few weeks. We know where to be found.
Well,
Yeah,
we've
we'll
already
make
watched
sure
the
not
first
to
one
tell you.
together. Yeah, I was like, we already watched the first one together.
Disappear.
We'll see. Maybe we'll, talk about it this year. We don't know. We haven't discussed it yet,
Not ready yet.
but Joseph.
Oh, The Exorcist 2. I know we already talked about The Exorcist for a little bit, but it's such a boring, dull movie. You could also absolutely make the argument in the case that the first one is just as boring.
It's just
and
that
it really
first
is.
hour.
Yeah, it's
That
really
first hour's
it
a little
drags.
rough, yeah.
But the first one still has a lot of imagery and scenery that's like always still to this day terrifying for me with how I grew up, how I was raised, how I watched it the first time. So The Exorcist 2, when I finally ended up watching it, I hadn't heard anything about it. I think I watched it like on AMC one day, like when they're doing like the Fright
Rerun.
Fest for October. And it's just, there's nothing there, man. It's such a boring movie. The third one's even way better than the second one. Like, the second one just has nothing going on. It's just really badly written, directed, acted. It's just not good. There's nothing going on in that film whatsoever. I've seen it once, and I will never see it again, unless we cover it, obviously. But yeah, it's just, I always thought it was just a really tough watch. One of the hardest movies I ever had to, like, watch. Just because I was just like, this is so uninteresting. And just thinking, like, well, maybe the third act will have, like, the big pop off, and it's just not there. Yeah.
And the second one has your boy in it, right? That we were just talking about, Brad Dourif. Is he in?
No, he's in the third one.
Oh, he's in the third one.
Yeah,
Okay,
where he
that's my bad.
plays like.
Wasn't he the prisoner?
Prisoner.
Yeah, but he's like, it's like, there's like something where it's like two different. He has like two personalities, or he's one side of the person. I
Because
forgot.
he's the
I forgot how
priest
it
from the
goes.
first one.
Yeah, I was like,
And
I forgot
then-
how it.
Yeah.
I forgot how it. I honestly
Brad
haven't
Dourif's supposed to be
seen.
the priest from the first
It's
movie.
like it changes. Like the
Yeah,
it's
I
like a
forgot
facial
how it
change.
how it aligns.
They're
I haven't
weird,
seen him in
yeah.
so long.
Yeah, I don't
The
know.
only thing I remember from the first one is
that
there's
one
like a
scene.
scene. No, the second one I just remember the scene where like Linda Blair's like talking to the kid or whatever. And she's like all happily, she's just like, oh, I was possessed once. And then the kid like looks at her like, what? And she's like, oh, don't worry, he's gone now. Like, just so like you were just like you were doing stuff with the cross, you were puking up
brutal
pea
possession,
soup.
yeah.
Like a beautiful, and you're just like, oh yeah, like I did that once. Like
It's not like
she-
you just went to church and they're like,
yeah.
like, oh, it's gone now.
But she like talks
Cool.
about it like she's just like, oh yeah, like I got a scrape on my knee once, like no big deal. Like you went through like a whole thing. Like a whole thing. Like people died. Like somebody flew out your window.
Yeah, broke their neck going down
Yeah.
the staircase. Like, I also had like
Spun
that
your
internal
neck.
argument with myself, being like, I want to know what was worse, the second Exorcist or the one. And I'm so sorry I made you watch it in theaters.
I was
that
gonna say,
latest Exorcist
that one was
movies.
terrible. They
That was
drug up the
awful,
mom
man.
for that fucking bullshit.
Dude,
dude.
that
Was
was
that
so
technically
bad.
a sequel?
It was because it takes
'Cause they
place
brought
in the,
the
same
mom back?
universe.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. And they brought
Yeah.
back Linda Blair. Spoilers, but I mean, the movie's fucking awful, man. So
Yeah, I was
It's
like, we
god-awful,
didn't see
dude.
that with you guys, so
No.
I was like,
yeah.
you
I
watch
still
it
feel
ever?
bad about it. Watch that
Oh
with
no,
me, dude. It was so bad.
It was definitely an experience.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Oh,
not
I
for
know
the
what we
movie.
watched
Oh boy,
instead.
behind us.
Huh?
We watched that.
Yeah, having his own
That's
exorcism.
so an exorcism, dude.
Teen travels back in time, mom murder,
oh yeah.
whatever it's called.
It was one of two, because there were like two that came out in like the same
Yeah,
time
yeah.
that were like.
Oh, the girl, the lady from Modern Family. She's the
Yeah.
mom, right?
That's
Yeah,
what
I
we
forgot
watched.
which movie it is. We were like, why didn't we go see it with you guys? But we were seeing something else.
You guys made the right decision.
What one did you see?
I don't remember the name because there were literally two movies
Jamie,
that
pull it up.
came out where it was like a teen like travels back in time to prevent a serial killer kind of thing. There was like two movies that were
Damn,
very
that sounds
similar.
Like a way better movie.
Oh, I ended up watching. with
Totally
her.
killer.
Totally
I
killer.
ended up watching with her like the next day.
The next
And I'm
day,
like,
because
I made a
told them
mistake.
about it and we watched it. Then.
Yeah, I think we watched
Yeah.
it. That's a great movie.
It's
I had a fun
it's on
time with it.
Amazon
That's a
Prime.
great movie.
You should watch it if you haven't seen it.
And then there was another one with like, or is that the one with Kierna Shipka?
This is
English?
the one with Kierna Shipka.
She's
What?
she's the girl.
What is the
She's
name?
the one that's
Kiernan
from.
Shipka?
She's the one from
That's a
the
name?
Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
The Unchilling the Netflix.
Yeah, the Netflix one, the
She's
blonde.
Sabrina?
Yeah.
She's Sabrina.
What's her name?
Kiernan Shipka.
Kiernan Shipka.
Yeah.
I think we're about
I
to
don't know
summon
if-
a demon or something with that.
Yeah, maybe don't say it again.
We just, like,
just
look-
in case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beetlejuice.
She is
Knock it off.
trying to find out what her ethnicity is.
What, you guys don't like Beetlejuice?
There was time in between the two, so it doesn't really work. But you were messing with powers you do not understand. All right, you better knock it off.
What about Beetlejuice?
Stop it. Stop it.
You better calm down, or Michael Keaton's about to come up in this place.
Not gonna be able to hear any of that.
So if I say Batman 3 times, is he's gonna just
he will.
appear?
He's gonna crash through our window and be like, "I'm Batman," and he'll just walk out.
He'll
the
just
front.
punch me in the face and be like,
Yeah.
"Don't summon me again," and he'll run out the door.
Maybe you can get answers for Joseph.
What do you
about
need?
Batman 2.
That was
Oh, how it's postponed to
no.
2027?
Getting takeout.
Sorry.
Try not to think about it.
It's because he's having another baby.
Who is?
Robert Pattinson. I was like, what's his name? I just
I
kept
was
saying
like, what?
Battinson in my brain.
He is?
He is Battinson.
Oh, I don't know. I'm just
No,
I'm giving like
it's-
real life solutions to a problem.
It's a real life issue with the director.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We were talking about that the
Yeah.
other
Yeah, it's
night.
because he's not Christopher Nolan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sucks.
It's okay, Joseph. Dune 3 will get you through it.
The Dune trilogy will be over by the time Batman way before Batman comes out.
You'll have
So,
something to look forward to.
Yeah.
You have
Yeah.
Timothy Chalamet.
And don't worry, I will catch up to you and watch those movies.
Oh yeah, you haven't
Get
seen
ready.
any of them.
6 hours of sand.
I'm fine
Fantastic.
because we watched what was it? 3 hours of witches flying around. I can do it.
Oh, Wicked.
Yeah, there you go. I was like,
Oh
it's
yeah.
a lot of movie, but we can handle it. We
That's what you
watched
guys
The
can do
Godfather.
on your next boy date. Watch a Dune.
I still haven't seen the second one.
9
so
hours of.
I'm waiting for you. But don't worry, we'll eventually cover Dune, Joseph.
So happy.
And you can whip it out.
Whoa, this is a family-friendly podcast.
Is it?
We just talked about trees.
We talked about SA in this, man.
We also mentioned
You mean a
Yeah.
service assistant?
Anyway, what's your worst?
Did you do yours?
I
No.
didn't. Not yet.
Ryan's?
Did you already do yours, or are you?
No,
waiting till
I
the
think
end?
Mooney and Joseph both did.
Oh, okay.
Theirs, so it's
For
you.
me,
We'll save the best for last.
I said
Not the
I said
best.
one,
Literally.
but I'm gonna change it.
Well,
Two.
wait. What was your one before?
So the one that I thought of initially was Leprechaun. I want to say
in the
3,
hood or
Into
back to the hood
yeah,
or
because I was like, this is ridiculous. But I'm gonna change it to Troll 2. I had to.
you're welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, you brought it up, and I was like, damn, you're right. That is way worse.
It's pretty awful.
Oh my god.
They're eating her, and then they're gonna eat me.
Do you guys want to know something sad?
You've never seen Troll.
I'm not. When
I
you
mean-
said,
I know, it's all.
when you said your worst movie is Troll, my mind went to the
Don't say
Justin
cartoon.
Timberlake
Oh,
cartoon. I was
God.
like, that's not a horror.
Yeah, it is.
I saw the first
It
one.
is a
I was
horror
like, I don't
movie.
even remember.
Yeah. Trolls 2.
That's where my
Troll
mind went. I
2,
was like,
yeah, Troll 2. I feel like I don't know. I feel like Troll 2 is like The Room for me,
Yeah. It's
where
so good. It's bad.
like yeah, it's so bad it's good
Yeah, there you go.
kind of thing. Yeah, I don't know. I'm also like a big like. I'm not afraid of like a bad horror movie because I feel like especially like if I'm watching it with like you guys like we're gonna make fun of it the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they made something and it was god awful, and we move. We go on from there. Not that one. It's literally
Oh, that's
called Troll
Trolls.
2, and it has nothing to do with the first Troll.
Yeah, I want to say even the creatures are different looking from what I remember.
because don't they go to the town of like
Oh God.
Limgob or whatever it is?
Just watching her pull up.
Real live reaction.
Yeah, we literally just found a movie that's scarier than Chucky for movie.
Yeah.
You know what I know?
Oh,
what's
jeez.
scarier? It's that or that.
I think that's part of the horror whatever that website is that it's on. I don't think that's not part of the movie. That's literally like the mascot for whoever's website. But anyway, so
This is terrifying.
I'm so excited. We're definitely
in
gonna cover
theory,
Troll 2 at one
yeah.
point.
But I always think of like green Jello when I think of Troll.
Oh my god.
Just
Can you just imagine Ryan or Joseph's face in this for the thumbnail?
this is terrifying.
Yeah.
I never want to watch this.
Well,
We're
gonna
absolutely
have
going to.
so-
The thumbnail's going to be great.
Oh,
That's what I'm saying. I'm just ready for the thumbnail. That's a good choice. I like that. I wrote that down. So mine once again was like a listing of just some. I threw out some garbage like horror movie sequels, and Troll 2 was on that list. I put down Silent Night, Deadly Night 2 as well.
Is that
That's the garbage day.
Garbage
Yeah.
Day?
That one I almost watched it during Christmas just because it was on Tubi, and I was like, fuck it, why not? Like, throw that shit on
It's
there.
such a wild idea for a sequel too. The way they
I-
carry on that story.
There are so many different versions of Silent Night, Deadly Night. You have like the original, and then they like tried to reboot it, and then it's just like, I don't know. Like one of these days, I do want to go through and just like sit and watch like all of them. It'll probably be next Christmas, but yeah, they're pretty. The first one's not bad. I even want to say the reboot, which I think is just Silent Night. That one is not terrible.
I just keep thinking of Black Christmas, the reboot. Every time you bring it, I know it's not the right.
Which one?
The one where he makes cookies out of like people's flesh.
Oh yeah, that's the
And just him eating just his teeth.
2007, 2008.
Yeah, where
Well, because they
he kills somebody with a
rebooted,
candy cane.
they rebooted again. I think in like 2019, and then that one was like a very feministic approach.
Yeah, because it was in the. Oh no, that's what the first one was. Or yeah, where it's in a not a frat, but the women's fraternity. I can't think of what that's called.
A sorority.
Sorority. There
Yeah,
you go.
sorority.
Sorority house.
Are you out of? Are you not? Are you not in this?
You're still thinking of Troll, aren't you?
I
Oh, I was like, is she confused? Do we not have the Black Christmas?
I don't know what you guys are talking about either, but
Oh,
I'm
also,
still
since
thinking
we're-
about Trolls.
just we-
White noise coming from Mooney's
I
head.
know.
Just thinking
Just
of the
to-
Troll.
The image of the face is zooming in closer and closer. Like, oh my god.
I know. I was like, did we lose her at Troll? And we just
Yeah.
we were on a bus and she got off on Troll and just never got back on.
Wait till you watch it though, and you're like,
Oh
this is
yeah,
terrible.
we can watch it together. It'll be great
I don't
with
know
all
if
the
I want
lights
to.
on.
No, we have to. It's a
I
great
saw
film.
like a couple of images from the movie, and I'm just like, what?
Um,
Had no words.
since we were just briefly talking about Black Christmas, I know there's not like a sequel necessarily, but like shout out to Olivia Hussey, who recently passed away. She was great in Black Christmas, the original Black Christmas. I wasn't asking for a moment of silence, but okay, yeah, I was
She
like,
got
great,
it.
good job, guys.
She got it. There you go.
I also wrote down Alien versus Predator, Requiem.
There you go.
Honestly, Alien versus Predator, I have a decent time with. I don't know why. Maybe it's the characters. I don't know.
And my question is Predator a horror movie?
I
Or
said
is it
no.
an action movie?
It's an action horror
It is, isn't
subgenre.
it? Hmm.
I feel like we could do an entire episode just based on sub genres, but like that's
Yeah.
such a rabbit hole of like
Yeah.
nonsense. So, but I don't know. I would say because there's like
I always thought it was like sci-fi action.
like sci-fi
Yeah.
horror, yeah, sci-fi
Well,
action.
just because it had
horror.
all Arnold and Carl
Jesse
Weathers
Ventura.
and Jesse Ventura and all the stuff behind the scenes of that, and yeah, I love Predator.
I like the first Predator. Okay, Ryan. Jesus.
Because you know what's playing in my head right now.
Yes.
Dylan,
Dylan.
you son of a bitch.
Shout out to Dylan.
Just muscle.
My first movie that I wrote down was just any Wrong Turn movie. I like the first one, but like anything after that, there's like no real consistency. I want to say even like the actor that plays one of the people in the first one was maybe only the only thing to come back from that, and only like it's just they're just not good movies at all.
Wasn't one of them good? Like a
the
recent
first
one? No, like a
Yeah, the
later.
first one.
Wasn't like one of the later ones like okay?
I think they ended up like rebooting or reviving the series at some point, and then that's what. I feel like they're having a moment with Troll
I'm
or
still thinking
something.
about
I
She's
don't know
still
what's
thinking about
happening
Troll
right
right
now.
now. Holy shit!
I don't think we're gonna get Mooney back
Anyway, continue.
for this episode.
Continue with your list.
I still know what you did last summer.
Yeah.
Jack Black is a reggae.
Ooh, I want to kill that fat white Jamaican kid.
I mean, yes. And then I put down. This would probably be my worst, and I mentioned it in our very first episode when we talked about like best and worst sequels. Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2, just a terrible.
Piece of turd.
It's just terrible.
Wasn't that your choice for worst
Yeah,
sequel ever?
I wanna say, yeah,
And then
I'm
also
pretty sure it was.
Exorcist 2 was your choice for worst sequel.
Was it? No.
just
Oh.
Sound the Mask.
Yeah, I was gonna
mine
say, I
Sound
was
of the
like-
Mask.
Thought mine was. Oh, well, fuck, I don't know.
Check
that.
tape on that.
Check the tape. Yeah.
Yeah, you can go back to the first episode one time.
Mhm.
Again if you want.
Yeah, I just remember. God, it's so terrible. You guys might have had the same one.
I think we each had like two.
we
in
might have
case.
switched because we had we all knew we were gonna pick probably the same ones.
Yeah, I think I picked like a couple in
Because
the
you
event
said you
that-
said Godfather, but then he said it first, so you switched yours to something else as like your backup.
No, I already knew you were gonna pick Godfather, so that's why I was like, I'm gonna go with Toy Story 2, which I.
I'm gonna have
would
to check
stand
like
by.
right after this because I'm intrigued. About what my
I know,
worst-
right?
like,
Just insert that footage right here.
Yeah.
We've talked about so many sequels on this podcast. We
I
don't
know,
even know where
it's
we're
all
at
blur.
anymore. They're all blending together.
Yeah.
I put down Jaws 2 just because I love Jaws. Like, I love the first Jaws. I love Jaws 3. I love Jaws the Revenge.
What about Jaws 19?
But Jaws 2, I just feel like it's so boring. Like, I love that it follows the same characters, but it's just like, what's happening? Where are we going? Like, make it at least a little bit more interesting. And then Jaws 3 is just such a ride because of how terrible, like, when the shark is, like, not even moving, but it's still coming towards the, like, SeaWorld Underground or whatever. And then, yeah, Michael Caine is Jaws the Revenge. That's my favorite.
Michael Caine.
Oh yeah, and then Jaws was Jaws 3D, so that was also like another thing as well.
That was a
And
big
then
thing.
I also wrote down Piranha 3 Double D.
And that's the one with Jerry O'Connell. Did we talk about this already?
No, I think we kind of.
We talked about it.
I swear Jerry O'Connell was in one of them, or all three of them.
He might be in
That's probably a spoiler, isn't
Two.
it, for 3 Double D?
because there's Piranha 3D and then there's Piranha 3 Double D.
Piranha Double D stars Daniel Panabaker, Katrina, Christopher Lloyd, Gary
Christopher Lloyd's in that bad boy?
Oh yeah, Gary Busey.
Gary Busey, David
didn't
Hasselhoff,
notice that
Chris
Busey.
Zilka, whatever.
Zelka.
Yeah.
So he's probably in the first one. I feel like he gets killed
Spoiler.
in the first one.
I don't know. I never saw them.
They blend together for me.
Jerry O'Connell's in Piranha 3D.
Yeah,
Just
they
the
blend.
one D.
They blend
Sorry.
together for me.
Was it in 3D?
I didn't see it in
I've
3D.
never seen any of them.
I've seen it, but not. I saw it on.
I've
at
seen the
home.
original Piranha. It scared the shit out of me.
Original Piranha is great.
Because I was like, oh man, I want to go in my pool. Piranhas are going to come
Piranha's
through.
terrible. And then the last one I wrote down was just The Descent Part 2, just because I love The Descent, and I think that it was just totally unnecessary for a sequel. Like, that they didn't need it at all. Or if they did, maybe they found, like, the remains from the first one, and that's fine, but I definitely don't think they needed to put that poor girl back in that hole.
I think I brought this up before too, but it's the same chick goes back?
Yeah.
I thought she didn't get out the first time.
It's not Sarah. Is it Sarah?
Because there's two
Can't remember
different
the character's
versions of the
name.
movie, correct?
Well, yes, there's
Yeah.
so there's two different endings. There was like the theatrical release or like the UK something or other. Well, they had like two different endings.
Yeah, because there's like the fake out where she's like, oh, I made it out.
Yeah.
And then it's like,
that's the
"No, you're
ending
back."
of the first one, and then but in the second one they're saying that yes, she did get out and she's like recouping, but they're like, oh well, your friends are missing. And they're like,
Yeah, I
you're
killed
the
them,
only
I'm not
one who
going
knows
back.
the mapping, so you have to take us back down there to rescue them. And
Nope.
they play that whole skit.
Nope.
And I would be like, hell no. And then she does say hell no. But then I think like somehow they drug her and then they just like do the whole like
Kick her down the hole?
300. Yeah. And they just like kick her down there and like, go get him.
No.
Yeah. It's not good.
No.
Yeah. It's not good.
Like an 127 hours me.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
The only thing I like is that they do bring back, they like reveal that like her best friend that like she left for dead in the first one because of, personal reasons or whatever. Like she's
She
still
was screwing her
alive.
boyfriend.
And then, yeah, she was sleeping with her husband.
Oh, yeah, there you
husband. So yeah, I like that because then it's like, okay, now's my secondary chance. Do I save the best friend again, even though she did, and then
Nah.
she does, and she ends up it's a thing.
Nah.
So, but yeah, I don't know. There's a bunch of great horror movie sequels. There's some terrible ones. So I feel like there's so many things that we could easily deep dive and make this a part 2, but just for the sake of timing and our welcome back season 2 episode. Do you guys have anything else? Any other thoughts? Any other movies that I know we kind of like, I gave a list of it's brought any to your surface brain of
I stand by my worst and my best.
we'll change your opinion
No, you won't.
with Troll 2.
Nah, Seed of Chucky. Still an abomination of a film.
We'll change it. All right. Well, anyway, let us know in the comments what your best or worst horror sequels are. And thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, subscribe, follow us. Yeah, I guess that's all. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. Until next time. the podcast, a show so sublime. Marissa, Mooney, Joseph, and Ryan signing off with glee. Join us next episode for more sequel revelry.